Yo, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over the top 5 best class setups to be using in Search and Destroy Modern Warfare. So today I have 4 nukes and some absolutely nasty clips for you guys. So how we're going to do it is we're going to show a couple of clips with the weapon, and then we're going to go into the class setup in depth, and then we're going to go into the next clips, and then the next class setup to keep everything as quick and as informational as possible. I hope you guys do enjoy today's video. As you guys can see up first, we were talking about the Uzi. The Uzi is an absolute problem. I can't believe they haven't nerfed it yet. I imagine it's just not going to get nerfed at this point. But as long as you have the barrel and the ammunition on this Uzi, it is by far one of the craziest weapons to be using in the game right now. It is so good up close, and it is also so good at 40-50 meters away. It is absolutely insane. It has no right being this good at 40-50 meters away. Like, I'll be the first one to say it. I love the Uzi. Don't abuse this setup too much, because it definitely does piss people off. As soon as we finish up with this nuke scene, then we'll go ahead and hop right into the gun class setup. So up first, we do have the tactical suppressor. You totally can go with the monolithic suppressor as well. The thing is it's just not needed. The only difference between the tactical and the monolithic is the monolithic increases damage range, but the damage range is already so epic on this Uzi. As long as you have the correct barrel and the correct ammunition, you don't need any extra damage range. It just adds on extra weight for no reason, making your ADS speed slower and slower. So the FSS Carbine Pro barrel for damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. Really important you have that barrel on there. It's definitely the best barrel. Next up, we got the .41 AE 32 round mags. That's going to increase your damage and range. So we got things increasing damage, range, and damage range. So the Uzi is just absolutely going to melt people from super far away. I promise if you give this class setup a try, you guys will see exactly what I mean. Up next, we got the 5 MW laser for really good sprint to fire speed and hip fire accuracy. Now, if you're super aggressive and you live on automatic tactical sprint, the 5 MW laser is going to be your best friend. But that really depends on your playstyle, to be honest. And then lastly, we got the GI mini reflex. Like we were saying, the Uzi can hit from 40-50 meters away. The iron sights just can't do that. You definitely want to have some sort of reflex on there. Up next, we have the bully, the secret 725. Obviously, the 725, everybody knows it's overpowered. The SPR is basically the 725's cousin that has a lot more range. As you guys can see, the ADS speed on this build is absolutely insane. It really never gets hit markers too. As long as you're using the Lapua mags that actually increases the damage on the SPR, then you never really, honestly, hit markers, if you get a hit marker, it's probably because you shot them in the groin area. As long as you're hitting them chest, upper chest area, this thing never gets a hit marker, and it has the fastest ADS speed, even faster than a car. So the SPR is just absolutely insane. And another great thing for all the snipers is we can all have a psych off as our backup. That's an 80 round automatic pocket AS Val pistol. So that is going to be a perfect secondary class. I like to use it all the time. That's 2 kills, 3, 4. We're going for the 5 on. You know we got it. You know we got it. The SPR is absolutely insane, guys. So here's the class setup, guys. You do want to make sure you're using the ZLR ASP barrel. The biggest thing I see people doing wrong is they try to use the Dragoon or whatever the other barrels are to try to increase their damage range, and in their head they think that they're going to get less hit markers. That's not going to make a difference on hit markers when you're talking 6v6 search and destroy. Majority of your kills is going to be under 40 meters. If you're being dead honest with yourself, especially if you're quick scoping and you're being aggressive, you want to make sure you're using the ZLR ASP barrel in 6v6 search and destroy. In other game modes, you could make arguments for the other stuff, but 6v6 ZLR is the only way to go. Tactical laser, just to give us more aim down sight speed as well. The Solo Zero SPR 28mm. This is just the default sniper scope for the SPR. I think it's better. I've never really liked the variable zoom scope, and it's not necessary in 6v6 as well. The XRK SP Light 208 Blitz. This is super important. It gives you sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed, and aim walking movement speed. So this makes your SPR build super mobile. You definitely need that stock on there. And then, as I was talking about earlier, you need to make sure you're using the Lapua mags. The other 2 mags are absolutely, there's no point in them whatsoever for 6v6 core search and destroy. This is what's going to give you damage range, and bullet velocity. So your bullets hit harder, they hit faster, and they hit farther away as well. So this is by far necessary attachment. You definitely need the Lapua mags on there. And if you want the entire lobby to hate you, all you gotta do is just take off the sniper scope and then go to bolt assembly and put on the Sloan KRX feather. It's gonna make your rechamber speed faster so you can shoot off, and now you're using the iron sight SPR, which is basically a 7.25 slug round. That is a lot more accurate. Up next, we have, in my opinion, the king of kings. This is the king of medium and long range, but it can also be very, very competitive up close with MP5s and Uzis as well, especially if you're anticipating the gunfight. The M4A1 has always been a really great gun. This is probably one of my best class setups that I've ever made in the game. Like, I can use it in any game mode, to be honest. It does really well in domination, hardpoint, and search and destroy, but especially in search and destroy, this class setup has bailed me out so many times. If you guys have not tried this M4 class setup out yet, I would highly recommend doing so. A lot of people do like to try to put no stock on their M4, which is good if you're trying to be like super aggressive with the M4 and you're treating it more like a submachine gun and you're only going to be killing people like within 20 meters. But if you want to be using your M4 to the M4's best abilities, you don't want to be using no stock on there because it's going to add a lot of recoil, and then you have to use other attachments to balance out the recoil control as well. So sticking away from the no stock and just using attachments that increase the ADS speed and that increase the sprint to fire speed is going to maximize your accuracy with this M4 build, and that is exactly what we do. First up, we got the monolithic suppressor to increase our damage range and to keep us off the radar. Always super important. Anytime I have an opportunity to be off the radar, I want to be off the radar. And then up next, we have the Corvus Custom Marksman Barrel. This is going to increase damage range, recoil control, and bullet velocity. Now, most of the barrels are stupid on the M4, and you really don't want to use them. But the stock M16 Grenadier barrel, like, it's just a bigger version of the Corvus Custom. Like, honestly, it's just not necessary for 6v6, but you totally could go with that one if you want to, if you feel like you're going to be hitting farther off shots. The 5MW laser for hip fire accuracy and more sprint to fire speed. Stipple grip tape for aim down sight speed and more sprint to fire speed as well. Really important if you're on automatic tactical sprint. And then lastly, we have that 50 round mags. With this attachment, you can go ahead and take out the entire team in one clip. It really helps out a lot. You don't have to worry about conserving ammo or anything. Up next, we do have Old Faithful, guys. We're rocking the MP5. Now, the MP5 is arguably the best gun to be using for close range engagements. So if you're a person that really likes to run around the map a lot and just kind of like let loose, or maybe it's a smaller map like Gunrunner where there's a lot of small engagements, anything under 20 meters, the MP5 is going to be your best friend and most likely the best bet with the fastest time to kill. As long as you have the monolithic integral suppressor like we have on this build, it's going to make your bullets hit faster and you're going to outkill other MP5s. I know a lot of people like to use the compensator on there to help control the recoil, but honestly, as long as you're using the Ranger foregrip instead of the Merc foregrip, I think you'll notice that the recoil control is like just spot on, and the aiming stability isn't going to be shaking all over the place as well, which does affect your recoil pattern and how you have to control the recoil of the gun. So the Ranger foregrip works in perfect unison with the F-Tac collapsible stock, making it so that you really don't need that compensator, giving us the ability to be sneaky, off the radar, and be able to have the fastest time to kill on your MP5 as possible. Also, if you're ever trying to get better with your movement in the games or in Call of Duty in general, using the F-Tac collapsible stock on the MP5 is really going to help you out. You're going to be so fast on the map and you're going to really understand how to do movement patterns and how to get out of situations a lot better. That's why I love the F-Tac collapsible stock. So hopping right to the gun class setup, we got the monolithic integral suppressor. That's going to give us sound suppression to keep us off the radar and increase that bullet velocity to make sure our bullets are hitting the target as fast as possible. Then we have the F-Tac collapsible stock for movement speed and aim down sight speed. This is really important because it's going to give us all the movement speed that we need and all the aim down sight speed that we need, all in one attachment. We don't need anything else to support it. Then we have sleight of hand. This one's totally up to you, but I've always used sleight of hand. I know all the big streamers also use sleight of hand as well, and you can also go either way on the ammunition. You can go 45 or the 30. They're both really good. The 30 round mags is only better within 10 meters. After that, the 45 round mags actually has a much better time to kill and you have more ammunition, so it's up to you. And then we have the Ranger foregrip for recoil control and aiming stability. The aiming stability bonus is such a nice thing. Your iron sights literally will not move at all. Up next, we do have the Ram 7, guys. This is actually one of my favorite guns in the game. I like to use it as more of an assault rifle submachine gun type build, so it is really good up close and at that medium range as well, maybe like 30-40 meters. Past that, I wouldn't really recommend taking engagements, or you could take off the commando foregrip and switch to a reflex instead, and then you could totally have something that is like meant for long range distances. But the Ram 7 up close, when you build it in this assault rifle submachine gun type way, is just so aggressive, so mobile, with such a good time to kill. It's absolutely insane. The craziest part is we don't even have a barrel on the Ram 7 just because the time to kill is so good. As long as you're within like 50 meters, I'd argue you definitely do not need a barrel for 6v6 multiplayer. Obviously, when you're hopping into like Warzone or 32v32 ground war, maybe you do want to put on the biggest barrel just to have that increased damage range. But as far as 6v6 maps goes, this Ram 7 build is absolutely insane. So up first, we got the monolithic suppressor. Really important that we have the monolithic suppressor on there because because again, we're not using a barrel, so this is going to be our only damage range increaser, and it's also going to keep us off the mini map as well. So trying to keep it fast and aggressive, we're going to use the 5 MW milliwatt laser for sprint to fire speed and hip fire accuracy, stipple grip tape for aim down sight speed and more sprint to fire speed as well. The 50 round mag, I've tried using the default 30 round mag in sleight of hand. It just does not work out. I feel like the 50 round mag is definitely one of those necessary attachments. I highly recommend having it on your build. And then lastly, we have the commando foregrip. That's just going to give us some recoil stabilization and aiming stability without hurting our aim down sight speed. Up next, I have our 2 god tier classes, guys. The AMAX, this is undoubtedly the best class setup for like long range engagements if you want to kill your enemy from 40 meters away and just beam them off the map. Then we got the AS Valve, which is like the king of short to mid range engagements as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today.
I think I changed brown, cause when the bitches hear this, they're gonna be like, wow. Smoking gas, living fast, wearing velvet. Looks like a 4-5 to the pelvis. Plenty money going around, I'm not selfish. And the ladies love me, Elvis. Smoking gas, living fast, wearing